Are you going to make a visitor's visa application to the UK, or your visa application was recently refused? Then this is the video for you. The fact is, a lot of visa applications from the Asian countries on the visitor basis have been refused, not because of the what you fill in the application form or the evidence that you presented, but because of the fact that applicants do not understand how the entry clearance officer assess the bank statement as a financial evidence. And what is even more shocking is, even though you might be having millions of dollars or crores of rupees in your bank account, you will still get visa refused unless you understand these key facts that I'm going to be discussing in the video. And I will also focus on the 5 key behavioral patterns that the visa clearance officers look as red flags or triggers when assessing your financial evidence. So stay tuned in this video to understand that how you can rectify those gaps and make a solid application convincingly to satisfy the requirements of visitor's visa going forward. So let's look at this bank statement case in which I am going to be assessing 3 bank statements as a visa case officer to help you understand that what the visa officers look for when you have applied for example, a visitor visa to the UK, and how they will go about it and what are the patterns that they look for. So let's look at the statement for the month of August 2025. Now, first of all, let's look at the profile. That the candidate is about 22 years of age. His name is Robin Knox. He's applied for standard visitor visa for 1 month, and he's got 10 lakh INR. Probably the guy is staying in India, so he's got 10 lakh rupees as savings, and he's working as a general manager, which I have spelled wrong. Manager, and his annual salary is 21 lakhs, 1.75 lakhs gross salary per month. He started on 1st of June. He works from Mehta and Co merchandise, and he's provided the last 3 months of statement. So assuming he's applied in November, so he's provided the last 3 months bank statement for the UK visitors visa. Now let's look at the first statement and try to find if there is any inconsistency, abnormal transaction that pops out. So the first payment is 18,500 as a rent payment, and his starting balance was 82,500 roughly. And I would be asking myself, does he have a tenancy agreement? That has he provided? If he has provided, then there would be no risk. So I'm going to say no. For example, if he has provided the tenancy agreement copy, and I would expect the same amount to be deducted in the next 2 months also. Now, what is also there on 3rd of August, he's got a rental income which he's got as 12,000 rupees. Now, what is important here is to see, has he so he's got additional income besides being on as a salaried job holder. So I would be looking at, has he provided me the proof of where this income came from? For example, if he owns a property, where is the deed of that property? And if there is a tenancy agreement for which he as a landlord is getting 12,000 rupees, and how long will he get this money? Is it a 3 months contract? Is it Airbnb? Or is it a typical 12 months leasing contract? So if he has not provided the copy, then he would be a risk as first transaction because he has not provided. Second, third would be cafe. He spent 650 rupees, irrelevant. There is no risk. It's completely okay. Then he's got a fixed deposit interest rate, which he it states here Q2 2025. This is a credit. That means he's got a principal amount which is held as a savings for which he is getting money. Now I would be looking at, has he provided me the copy of fixed deposit with clearly showing the total amount invested, the maturity date, and the rate of interest he's getting, and whether it can be redeemed at any point of time to show liquidity, right? So obviously, if he's getting 25,900 for 1 quarter and there are 4 quarters, so obviously he's going to earn in excess of 1,10,000 or 1 lakh rupees. So I need to see if he's provided me a copy of that fixed deposit. If he has not, then for me, if he has not provided, then for me it is a red sign, and I would be looking at it as a question. So I'm going to make it as red, and this one, then this one I'm going to also make it as red because he's not provided me the, so that is red. I If he has provided me the copy, I'm going to mark it as green, and I'm going to, this is also green. Mobile payment and small bills are of no issue, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Right now there is a credit card bill of 23,489 that he has paid. So now I would want to know, as a visa case officer, how much debt does he have, whether it's a personal loan or a credit card debt, I need to know that is he living within his means. Given the fact he is on 1,75,000 as a salary, gross salary, I would expect a salary. So I see he spent money on Amazon, some groceries also, nothing unusual about it. And I'm going to make it white. But where is the salary? What I don't see is a salary. Now, I've written here the point where is the August salary. So, normally, if somebody is getting 1.75 lakhs month, net in hand could be around 123, 125, depending on the taxes that you pay in the local country. And I'm not seeing that. Has he provided me with some explanation of that or a cover letter? I don't see any of that. So right now what I see is he started working on 1st of June. We are talking about August. He should have received the salary, but the major red flag is these two: salary missing and the rental income. These two we have not. So it's irregular income. So I would look at for patterns like debt repayments affecting saving, unexplained third party deposits. So right now in the first month I don't have unexplained third party deposits. What I do have is irregular income because I don't have a salary, and I don't have explanation of why this savings has come, how many times the savings would be coming into the bank account, right, in terms of pattern. Now let's look at the month number 2. Let me first correct this thing. This is the month of September. We looked at August. So let's look at, he has again paid the rent, which is green sign, which is good that he's paying this fixed rent every month. Then there are small payments of eating out, which is again of no relevance. It's completely okay. Then he's got a salary of 246,913. Now, this amount contradicts to 175,000 as a gross amount because it just says salary. There is no explanation why this salary is so high, because you know what? If you divide 21 lakhs, which is 2.1 million, by 12, you get gross salary of 175,000 per month. If you deduct taxes, because you're a salaried employee, your taxes would be deducted from before you get the net salary of 123k. You got this 246,913.86. So for me this is a big red flag of inconsistent income which is not explained. Then what else he has got? He has got an EMI, which is like a monthly payment for an Apple device. So now there is no credit card bill. So maybe he settled the full bill in the prior month, which was 23,000. And right now he's got the EMI, which is like a loan payment. So I want to know how many payments is he going to be paying. For example, 12-month contract? Is it the 36-month contract? Is it 24 months contract? So I need to know. So what is popping out? It is not a major thing, but I would put it in blue bucket so that I know that this is, I need to see, is it going to be every month, or how long the contract is, and what device has it this person is got, to be able to estimate that what is his lifestyle, what are his incomings and outgoings. Now what I clearly see, the previous month ending balance was 73,661, which is here, and ending balance has become 296 594. And the reason is this big amount that has come as a salary. Now even though you might think that this is a good amount of money, but if it is unexplained and not consistent, it is a red flag. Like I said, irregular income, it is irregular because in this month you didn't get any income, but in this month you got suddenly big deposit, and that is a big question mark. Now if you had a cover letter in which you would have substantiated saying, in the month of August I did not get any income because there was a technical glitch, but that is substantiated with the email from the HR, and I got a double payment of 123.9k. So because if you divide this amount 246 by 2, it should turn up to the, yes, okay, you can see that this is the monthly salary. So that means he got the two salaries in 1 month, right? If you write it in cover letter and you also support it by a pay slip as an evidence, then you have uh, made sure that the visa officer is satisfied. But because you've not showed anything, you are in the red right now, and there is a big risk, right? So now I'm going to look at eBay. I don't care about, so I'm going to say I'm satisfied. But based on the two statements, the big point here was a salary missing and no rental income and the fixed deposit. and then also again he got the rental income, and but he got a very big salary, and then there is a loan commitment. This is blue, this is not serious. Now I would look for consistency in the month number 3. Let's look at, has he got the salary? Yes, he got the salary, so that is a good sign. So if he would have given a cover letter in which he said he did not get the salary in the month of August 2025, but he got a double salary in September for August and September, and then he got the salary in October through a cover letter in which he can explain with a pay slip, not just the employment contract copy, then the visa officer would not think that he is not having consistent income, as long as you can substantiate it. Now, 12,000 again as a rental income has come. So I am going to put it as red because I have no copy of any tenancy agreement. He still is paying rent, which is very good sign. Then he has paid incidental expenses, eating out, which is completely okay. And I'm going to make it white. But then there is no EMI for the 12,000 rupees, which was in the previous month, and now there is a credit card bill of 12,500. Now you might think that this is okay, but I don't think so this is okay, because if the word EMI is mentioned, that is a monthly payment, installment, right? Expected monthly installment. Now it is possible that the device was for 192,000, you made a payment of 180,000, maybe your father paid, and 12,000 you said you're going to pay it in 1 month's time. That's why you only paid it for, this is 192. So it is possible that you could have arranged it like this, but to a visa entry clearance officer, they would think that you have a EMI, but in the next month there is no EMI, but there is a credit card bill. If you don't explicitly state in the cover letter that I bought a device so and so, the serial number is so and so, here is the receipt of that was partially funded by my father or mother, of this much by them, here is the statement proof of that, and I just took one additional payment myself, and that's why you only see one payment, but not monthly payments like that. If you explain like this, then you have negated that um, doubt in the mind of the entry clearance officer. Now, still, this is a very, very small amount, so I'm not overly concerned. What I'm concerned about is this big block of sudden cash appearing in my bank account. So, if this person, Robin, has got 10 lakh rupees from somebody called N. Sharma, and there is no explanation, and I would be asking, what is this amount for, who paid this, and why they have paid this, right? Other amounts are pretty small because he's got the salary, so salary is green, I'm satisfied that he got the salary. Now this is something called a sudden large transaction, unexplained deposit by a third party. Now if in the cover letter, you don't explain this amount, you could be having millions of dollars, and you can say, I have the money, why would you not grant me the visa? Well, the thing is, what people do in Asian countries is they go to third parties and finance for say 30 days, that I need this amount of money to show to get the visa, and after 30 days, after I've been granted visa, then I would return this amount to you for an interest fee of X, right? And India, Pakistan, and many Asian countries are known to do this thing. And that's why the officers are trained to look for consistency and big amounts like these, because this guy has claimed at the top that he has 10 lakh rupees for the trip. But if you look at month 1, he has 73,000 only remaining in his bank account. Month 2, he's got 296, with an understanding that there was a delay in the pay in the month 1. And here he's got suddenly 10 lakh rupees. So straight from 2 lakh 96,000, he's gone to 10 lakh rupees, right? That itself is a big red flag. And the reason why I explain this, if you say you're going to the UK for 1 month, right? The first question would be, if you're a salaried person, how come somebody is going to allow you for 1 month of vacation? Normally it's 2 weeks, 10 days, or even 3 weeks. But imagine if I give you the benefit of doubt that you got married and you're going for a vacation with your wife, and the employer has given you a letter that yes, you got married, here is a proof of marriage, here is a letter for that, and you are free to go, right? You have shown that you are a genuine visitor in that sense. But this amount from a third party is a big question mark. For example, if you show that you are the only person who's going for an holiday, right? And but you've not explained who this N Shama is and why they have given the money, the chances are this could certainly result in a refusal, because the person would say this shows inconsistent pattern, and there is a substantially large transaction that is unexplained. Normally, in a cover letter, you can substantiate that in the month of October, I got a credit of rupees 10 lakh rupees from N. Sharma. Let me tell you why this is the income. And you explain that this Mr. N. Sharma is my father in law, and we wanted to go for a wedding to London and to enjoy ourselves for a month. That's why I've been granted this leave. And my father-in-law, instead of giving us some other gifts, instead chose to give us this cash amount as a gift. Here is a proof of my marriage. Here is a proof of wedding that where it was held. Here is the identity of Mr. N. Sharma. Here is a signed declaration stating that yes, I'm giving this amount to my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law, my daughter, for the honeymoon, for example, so that they can go and visit the UK for a month's time. And that's why I'm giving them this amount of money. If you put that in that context in the cover letter, the visa officer is going to look at your cover letter and say, aha, okay, he is already preempted out that he got this money from his father-in-law, and he did not although earn this money, he got this money from his father-in-law, and he's provided the documentation of that, and he's also shown the bank statement of the father-in-law from the money exiting and then entering into the bank account. Because if you show that only this person paid me for this and this reason, but if you do not show the full name of and the bank statement in the month of October, the money going from this account to this account, right, then you are raising a question mark in the eye of the bank, visa officer, right? And then he will be really doubtful. Now, this 12,500 is a loan amount, and the visa officer would be thinking that I don't have a proof of why 12,000 rupees EMI here went suddenly missing. Did you forge the statement? They would be checking, so they would be calling the bank. And if you have not forged the statement, they would want to know why the EMI word was mentioned, right? They could also look into that. And now they would want to know how much money do you have on the credit card. So what I would do is I would provide last 3 months of credit card statement, in which there is a clear spending that you've done through credit card and the amount of money repayment that you've done. If you're continuously paying your monthly amounts at the end of each month, the visa officer would be satisfied that you don't have huge loans, and there is no incentive for you financially to go to the UK to find illegal work there, because on visitor visa you are not allowed to work unless for certain exceptions, like you have a paid engagement, which is like a commentator for cricket series or something. But that I'm not going to discuss. But a cover letter can certainly help you address that. Now, let's take a pause here. Now, what I've explained is that in the month one, his salary was missing. That's why I took note. Then he has additional income. I made a note of that, that there is no rental copy of the contract. That is first trigger. Second trigger is that he has additional income of interest income from fixed deposit, because it says fixed deposit, but there is no fixed deposit maturity certificate, and this certificate is required to see how liquid the funds are. If it is not there, then I am starting to get concerned a little bit. And especially, I'm not concerned about the income, I'm concerned about the fact that there is no salary coming in. But in the second month, I see that there is an extraordinary amount, 246,913 rupees, and they are not going to do the math for you unless you explain to them explicitly that why you, instead of getting 123,916, whatever the amount is, you got double of that amount. They are not going to do that for you. So it is for you to do that. Otherwise, in the visitor visa UK now, then now there is no right of appeal and no administrative review since 2013 when the law changed. So make sure that you explain any inconsistent income that you're getting. So if you got the late salary, or if you got double amounts clubbed together, please write it in the cover letter. And in case you don't know how to write it, I have a cover letter that is digital template available on my digital store. It is in the description in the YouTube. You can see down below. That will help you address all these grounds in a systematic and structured manner. Trust me, cover letter can literally result in getting your visa approved if you structure your cover letter properly. Now, in the when you've looked at the statement, now you look at the month three. The major red flag for me is this 10 lakh rupees. That would be the final trigger for me, where you get the feeling as a visa entry clearance officer whether this person is economically consistent in terms of stable, and does he have anything that would give me concern that whether this person is a genuine visitor or not, and whether he can afford staying in the UK for a month. Now, if you might be thinking as an applicant, I have 10 lakh rupees, I can sustain, I'm on a great salary, why would I not get the visa? The answer is you have not explained this amount. 10 lakh rupees. How did suddenly you get a sudden deposit? And this is quite often very important. It is not a problem that you got sudden money in the account. The problem is you've not explained it why you got it and who gave it to you, why they gave it to you, right? If you say you took a loan of 10 lakh rupees as a personal loan to go and visit the UK. Do you think that would be a concern? I don't think so. You can say, I have always dreamt of going to London. Me and my wife, now we are going to London for a holiday, for example, or and we have taken a loan, which is by an individual called N Sharma, and this much rate of interest that he's charging us. Here is a here is a loan agreement, and the reason why I've gone to a private individual is because the rent of the interest rate of a bank is much more higher, say 10%, and I'm getting at 7%. That would save me the money. And here's the signed document on a court affidavit or a court attested document that says that this is a genuine bona fide loan agreement. Sometimes people give money to relatives, that's completely okay. But in order for the visa case officer who has never seen you, your personal identity and application is only your documentation. If you substantiate in this manner using a cover letter, you strongly pull the odds in your favor. Right now, by the end of this third month, the visa officer is going to make points like this below. Has he provided me the employment copy? The answer is yes. Is there something missing? No. Satisfied that his gross annual income started on 1st of June, earning 21 lakhs or 1.7 lakhs per month. Bank statements provided? Yes. Satisfied that he has provided me 3 months of statement. Pay slips? He has not provided me. So if he has not provided, then how does the visa case officer know that what is your net salary in hand? Okay, they see that okay, here you got 150, 123, 456, and you say salary, but how do you really know that what is the income tax you paid, what is the social security, what is the pension? So if you've not provided a pay slip showing that on this date you got salary credited, this date should be matching on the pay slip also. It's really important. You cannot just expect a visa officer to see employment copy which shows gross salary without any taxes, and then you just provide the bank statements without showing your pay slip, right? Then the fourth point would be, has he provided me the proof of rental income? Okay, so he would be making a note. Does he own another property? If he owns, because it's his rental income, who is it coming out from? Is there a tenancy agreement copy? Is there a copy where he has declared this additional income and does he pay taxes on it? Even if you have not paid taxes, the most important thing is, do you have a formal legal document which is like a tenancy agreement attested by a court or something that proves that money came from this person whose account number is this into this account, and he's been paying it for the last 12 months. The best way to do that is, say I had an agreement in 2024, for example, and he's been paying me this rent since 2024. Here is a proof of last 12 months of statement where he's deposited this money into my bank account. But the challenge is, if you provide too much evidence of last 12 months or last 24 months, it would mean that you're overburdening the anti clearance officer with too much of irrelevant information. The best course of action would be, in my opinion, would be you provide a tenancy copy which clearly states the rent per month from the account number so and so and the name individual and the date on which the rent has to be paid, and that would satisfy the requirement easily. Now, large transaction, is there an explanation provided? The answer is no. There is a huge deposit but no explanation. This would be the most likely trigger for visa refusal under 4.2e. Now, 4.2e rule is, do you have the economic resources or the money, sufficient money to pay for a reasonable cost for the entire trip, which means flights, stay in the UK, incidental daily living expenses, visa cost, and coverage for your, for example, any contingency like medical insurance or whatever it is. Now, you think that you have provided the money that you have money in the bank account, but you have not provided where this money came from and how come such a sudden deposit came before the application. Because I have written here On 2nd of November you applied, but on 15th of October you got this 10 lakh rupees in your bank account, and that is a huge question mark. You must not see that these bank statements is what they look for. They look for patterns, they look for consistency, they look for credibility, and they look for, do you have the lifestyle? For example, are you spending more than you earn, or are you living in your own means, or after this trip would you have some money remaining for yourself? For example, this 25,900 rupees as an interest, if you got 5 6 lakh rupees of savings, the visa officer would be quite positively seeing this. Okay, this money this person has, not only this money in the bank account, he's not only got a good salary, but he's got 5 to 6 lakhs rupees of savings, or even 10 lakh rupees of savings that he can substantiate. If you do that and explain that in a cover letter, then you have made a strong impression. Otherwise, based on what I see right now, most likely a decision would be refusal. And here is how they would refuse. Overall decision: if the applicant can reasonably pay for expenses, trip to the UK, and is a genuine visitor and will return back to the home country without accessing public funds, the answer is no. And therefore, the decision is refused under 4.2a and 4.2e. Now, I want to give you some final recap and practical insights. It is good that you supply your bank statements for the last 3 months, provided for last 6 months, so that you can show consistency over a slightly longer period. Don't try to stick for 12 months. Show your income tax returns of one year or 2 years. That would show that you are, what is the estimated annual salary that you earned, what is the net salary, and the taxes you paid. Besides the payslip, always show payslip, and make sure the date of the payment mentioned on the payslip matches the date when you get the salary in the bank statement. Of course, the dates can vary, but usually you should show that this is my gross salary, this is my net in hand salary, and it is coming at the end of every month. Once you get that, is there any other additional income that the visa officer should know? If you have rental income, interest income, if you do a side business, please provide a documentary proof of that, and also state it in the cover letter. I cannot tell you how important the cover letters are. That is why I've made a digital template which you can tailor make it and explain any circumstance to meet not just only the financial grounds, but the grounds of whether you're a genuine visitor or not. For example, if you got a property, if you got a loans on your head, this gives you a reason to come back to the country from where you're going to be starting the trip. If you got a letter from your employer that we are awarding you leave for 4 weeks and you must join back, that is another evidence of your ties to your home country, that you will go to the UK and then you will come back. Here, in my opinion, the person would be rejected on the ground that he is not a genuine visitor, first of all. And the reason why is that he does not have the income, even though on the employment contract copy shows 21 lakh rupees or 2.1 lakh rupees. I don't see much funds in his bank account. 73,661, 296, with a salary not explained why there was a certain deposit. And here 10.4 lakhs. If you remove this amount, say I make it zero, the balance would fall down to 4 lakh rupees, right? But if I do control Z, now you are in, for example, your balance is, I think there is an error here, let me correct it, 400, and this is 671 and 0.79. Now your balance is 10 lakhs, but if 10 lakhs was gone, then you would be left with 400,000. And then whatever you were claiming that you're going to go to the UK for 1 month, 1 month is a long period. And for 10 lakh rupees, if you claim that this is the amount of money you have in hand, if you remove the 10 lakhs, you will not be able to sustain, and then you will be dependent on the public funds of the UK, which is like a housing benefit or any other benefit that would help you sustain there. So they would say that this person, because he's younger in age, is actually going to the UK so that he will never return back and will end up working illegally in the UK. So they would look at on the balance of probabilities that more likely than not, given his age, he will not return back to India or wherever he's applying, and also he does not have sufficient funds himself and he's not a genuine visitor. So tip 1: if there is any other additional income or expense like a loan or additional income, please support it with a document and state it in the cover letter that besides my normal job, I have one, two, three incomes. There is the legal proof of that. Here is the transaction. This is the person who's given me the money for that. This is my tenant. This is my property proof. If you show that income tax returns and pay slips, you'll be okay. Then any unexplained large transaction such as this, you explain why did you get this money, right? Now, the decision comes that if you really want to visit the UK and you don't have the funds right now, what should you do? My suggestion is please don't apply for the UK visa because there is no right to appeal and administrative review. And once you get rejected, they will write at the bottom of the letter. You see my previous video in which I explained a real case in which they said when the visa was refused, i- if you make a fresh application, the visa will be considered on individual merits. But if the financial circumstances or circumstances do not change, your visa is more likely to be refused. That is a warning that if your circumstances don't change, if you apply again, it will be refused again. So, what my suggestion would be, make yourself solid. Instead of going for 1 month, try to go for, say, 5 day trip or 7 days or 10 days trip, right? And make sure you budget enough money for the flights, for the stay, find a cheaper hotel, find a cheaper place to stay, and daily living expenses of between 90 to 120 pounds. And if you account for that, and then you look at your income, that after you show your savings, your fixed deposit, and any other reason why you got a third party income which is not a loan, you explain that from whom it came, why it came, how much is it, a loan or is it a gift. You explain that and that person has signed it, you have a proof of their ID, then you will be good, and then most likely you will be in a better position to apply in few months. For example, if you apply in the month of, say, January, you would be getting an income of, say, October, November, December. Because when you apply in January, you would be showing your last 3 month statement. Say it would be December, November, and October. But the interest to convince the person that you really have consistent economic stability, I would show last 6 month statement and explain any transactions that are out of the ordinary, like any big deposit, any additional income, and then you write it in a cover letter addressing that, um, the dear visa officer, in order to support my trip, I have estimated this much expenses for flight. Here is a booking.com. Here is my hotel stay. It would be costing this much. And for daily expenses, I've estimated this much. So the total expenditure that I put in the online application form is this much. Here is how I will support it. Number one, I have a job that pays 21 lakh rupees per month per year. I get net in hand this much. In the month of this, I did not get the salary because there was a technical glitch, but I got the double salary in the month of, say, September. Then you say I have other income of 12,000 rupees, which is rental income. Then on top of that, I also get fixed deposit interest, which is the interest on fixed savings. My total savings are this much. Here is the copy of that, and I'm going to get my next credit in the month of January. In order to fund my trip for 10 days, I have estimated this expenditure, and you can see I have sufficient income, and I am given the fact that I'm paying higher taxes and I have higher income, I will be able to sustain my trip to the UK. I hope you've enjoyed this video, enjoyed how I explained the video, and when you make an application, you're going to make a solid application. So, wish you all the success. And as a small creator, I want you to follow me, subscribe to my channel, and if you want my personal consultation, please do approach me. I also have a digital store. Do not forget to buy my cover letter in the link down below. Till next time, take care. Bye.